I want to apologize. I'm like 30 minutes late.
Okay.
And so right now it's about 3 o'clock, a little after 3, I think. I was supposed to be here at 2:30. I had a fertility appointment at 2 o'clock where I just had to make a little donation. You haven't brought the test tube with you?
No.
Okay. I left it there.
If there's a refrigeration thing, we got a kitchen here.
I had the appointment at 2, and they were like, "Hey, can you get there at 2:30?" I was like, "Yeah," because it wasn't far from the clinic's not far from your studio. So I was like, "Yeah, I'll do my thing. I'll get in the car and I'll be here." And then some guy at this clinic was taking a really long time to jerk off. I was just in the waiting room. And meanwhile, there's people here. They're like, "I thought you were going to be here." I'm like, and I was joking around. I was like, "Yeah, I just got to go to the fertility clinic. It'll be a quick visit, you know?" And then they must be here like, "Man, it's taking this guy a long time to get it going. It's been like 30 minutes. He's not in the car yet? He's still in there?" But it was another guy.
Right.
There was another guy who was having a problem. This is Aziz Ansari, and I'm going to be on The Romesh Show.
It's the Romesh Ranganathan Show.
Oh, shut up, Romesh.
This episode is brought to you by Virgin Red. So, Virgin Red means go. That's the whole idea. And I'm telling you that because I am, by nature, someone who does not go. I'm world class at talking myself out of things. Someone says, let's go away for the weekend, and within 30 seconds, I've already talked myself out of it. So I stay home, thinking about all the things I want to be doing, which is why Virgin Red is, honestly, brilliant for people like me. Virgin Red offers epic rewards from the brands you love, and you earn Virgin points from doing things you're already doing. Your travel, your shopping, your day-to-day spending, and those points unlock trips away, hotel stays, live music, and experiences that become the story you're telling for years. Moments that become memories. All you have to do is go. Go somewhere you've been meaning to. Go do something you never knew you could. And once you're there, you remember exactly why you said yes. Even better, your Virgin points don't expire, so you can let them build up until something epic comes along. And it will. Ready to dive in? Become a member and start unlocking rewards that make life feel a little more epic. I'm going to do your intro now, Aziz.
Sure.
And if there's anything, if you don't feel like I'm big enough enough or anything like that, just please feel free to jump in, okay? I want you to feel like great and boosted and all that good shit. Okay. My guest today is an Emmy and Golden Globe winning comedian, actor, writer and director. Happy so far?
That's all accurate.
Okay, great. He started in the MTV sketch show Human Giant and cult comedy Scrubs before becoming a household name in Parks and Recreation. He went on to create and star in his own Netflix original series Master of None. He has made 6 hit Netflix specials and is part of an elite group of stand-ups to sell out Madison Square Garden. Last year, he wrote, starred in and directed his first film, Good Fortune, with Seth Rogen, Keanu Reeves and Keke Palmer. Now he is bringing his hypothetical tour to the Royal Albert Hall. It's the trailblazing, the hilarious, the incredible, the peerless, the beyond compare, Aziz Ansari, everybody!
I'm just going to keep that recorded by my bed. So whenever I'm feeling bad about myself, I'll just play that and be like, hey.
You should do. It's all true.
Too bad.
It's all, yeah, you're doing good. You're doing good.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe we've ever met before.
Never.
Which seems crazy to me.
I know.
When this came up, I was like, I've got to do this. I got to meet this guy.
Yeah.
Because,
The industry tries to keep Browns apart.
So where is your...
I don't know if you're aware of that. But because what they're worried is that if we start to communicate too much, do you know what I mean? Who knows what might happen?
Wait, so where is your family from? You were born here.
Yeah, my family are from Tamil Sri Lankan.
Okay. Do you speak Tamil? My family, you don't. So my family's from Tamil Nadu, Kerala.
Yes, yeah.
So
Do you speak Tamil?
Konjam.
Okay.
A little bit.
Yeah.
None.
No, you sound like you're an accent away from sounding like my mum here. Do you know? The truth is, so my mum and dad were so deeply paranoid about when my mum and dad first moved to England. They were so paranoid about fitting in and our family fitting in, right? So paranoid. So then they became obsessed with the idea that if they spoke Tamil around the house, that we, for some reason, when we spoke English, we would have an accent, which is obviously not true. because so many of my friends had I've got loads of Indian friends who their parents are speaking their mother tongue around them and they can speak both languages. And so my mum and dad never spoke Tamil around us, never taught us. And now my mum is deeply furious with me that I can't speak Tamil. So that's where I'm at.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
I when I was a kid, I could speak it.
Yeah.
And then I think over time, as I started going to school and everything, I kind of lost it. But now, if I go back to India, it starts coming back, but it's still pretty rough.
Yeah.
But kids pick up accents. I have a friend who moved from America, and her kid's only been here a couple of months and got a British accent.
Yeah, I know. So it's the theory wasn't true, but my mum's really annoyed about it. And then she wanted me to learn later on, and then I just didn't. So she's, it's bad.
A tricky language.
It is tricky, and it's led to a lot of embarrassment, to be honest with you. It's like whenever I go to like a Sri Lankan restaurant, they start they assume that you can speak Tamil. Then they start, and then you have to go, I'm really sorry. And then they go, how come? And you go, well, my parents, when they first came over, they had this thing about, like, they wanted us to really fit it, and then they go, oh, that's a shame. And I go, yeah, it is.
This is the plight of us that grew up in different countries. We're kind of in between. We're not enough for either party.
I know. And then you go, I've not been to Sri Lanka for a long time, but when you do go back, that's really, I find that really embarrassing. The disconnect.
Yeah, they can tell you're not supposed to be there, or they can tell you're off. I've compared it to like when people see a white rapper, they're like, yeah, but it's not the real hip-hop.
I get it. You pick up a certain level of skill, but it's learned. You're not feeling it.
Yeah, and it's strange because you don't feel that until you get older.
Yeah,
that you're different. And it's something I never really thought about till I got older, how, when you go there, it's like, oh, you're still not in a place that you fully fit in.
Yeah. I think for me, the bit that's really, what's made me really reflect on it is, my wife is white, English white, and so my parents were worried about me assimilating. Now,
is she from England?
Yeah, she's from England. So so I can't speak Tamil. My children...
this is all I think about. This is all my show's about. Because my wife she's not British, but we met in London.
Okay.
She's Danish.
Yeah.
But we're married and we're trying to have kids. We're on a fertility journey.
Right.
Wait, and you have kids. How many kids do you have?
3 boys.
3 boys?
Yeah.
Oh my God. What are their names?
Theo, Alex, and Charlie.
No Indian Sri Lankan name.
You sound so much like my mum. Yeah.
This is another thing. It's so funny. You've got to come to see the show because this is all I talk about. It's all these things that never popped in my head before we got married.
Yeah.
And then you get married and like, oh, if we have kids, which way are we going to go with the names? And it's something that you just don't think about.
Well, it's a tricky one, actually. I've never really talked about this that much, but I've sort of become more, I don't know, I think you talked about it as you get older. As you get older, you start to think about your culture more. And like when you're young, you just want to fit in, right? So you almost I remember this is really embarrassing to say, but I remember my dad, this is a really embarrassing thing to say, but I remember my dad coming to pick me up from school and me feeling embarrassed by his accent, because you don't want to, you're so desperate, you don't want any point of difference from all the other kids at school. So as soon as your dad gets out or your mum gets out and you sort of think, oh God, this is are they going to, and the kids didn't give a shit. Do you know what I mean? But it's a perception thing. And then as I got older, I was like, well, actually, my culture and, all of that is something that I want to sell. I feel really privileged to have those origins. Do you know what I mean?
Well, it's become cooler as we've gotten older.
Oh, that's another good point.
People have been, white people have been more into it. When we were younger, they weren't into it. Now they're like, ooh, cool. It wasn't like that when you... But did you not have any kind of community? Because I grew up in South Carolina, so there was no one else to really, band together with.
Yeah.
I was really by myself.
Yeah.
And God, I know what you mean. Kids would come over, my dad's wearing a lungi.
Yeah.
And you're like, all right, well, this is going to be a problem this week.
Yeah.
Thanks for that. Lungi.
Yeah.
Just to explain a lungi, it's basically, how would you explain a lungi?
Like a sarong thing.
Yeah,
right?
it's kind of like a sarong, but for kids that want to make fun of you. Oh, your dad's wearing a dress.
Yeah. And
now I'm like, I think lungis are pretty cool.
They're so cool. I mean, David Beckham wore a lungi.
Do you wear a lungi?
No, do I wear it occasionally? Yeah.
Really?
On my birthday.
Whoa.
You know, when I'm feeling frisky. But I remember like when I used to, when I was younger, I used to take girls. I'd have bring a girlfriend back to my house. And it was a good 5 or 6 visits to my house before any girl that came to my house saw my dad with a top on, because he'd just be wearing a sarong with no shirt. And he's like, it's my house. Why should I change my behavior because you decided to bring somebody on?
That seems like, I don't know if you could paint all brown dads with that brush, because that seems a bit extreme. My dad would put a shirt on. If company was over, he'd have a shirt on.
To be clear, that's very specific to my dad. but yeah, as you get older, you sort of want to engage with that a lot more, and you feel more comfortable about doing that, and actually it's something to celebrate. But now I don't. Now I'm having to retrospectively kind of engage with it in a way that I feel like I can deliver something to my children. My children don't really have that much of an, like they know what their background is, but are they that bothered about engaging with it? No, not particularly. Do you know what I mean? Unless I make an active decision to do that, it's tricky.
These things go through my head a lot, and the other day I had this thought of, my worry was, I've just watered down. I'm going to give a watered down version of the culture because I'm so watered down from what my parents were, just in terms of the culture. But the thing that's cool is, okay, well, I know a bunch of other stuff from just being someone that's traveled around the world. I know a lot about Italian culture, French culture, and you can bring all that to the kid, and it's just something different. And same with my wife. It's like, okay, so you have Danish culture, and I don't know. I guess my thought was like, well, my parents will be around hopefully, and they'll do their part, and then you do what you can, and it'll be something different, just as it was for me. I'm sure my parents thought about this.
Yeah, and, the good news for you is that you're trying for kids. For me, the ship has already sailed.
How old were the kids?
16, 14, 11. So they're...
Whoa! How old were you when you... you seem like a very young guy to have kids that old.
No, I was like... must have been 32 or something when I had to weird. But my... they're done. Culturally.
Wait, so you're 48?
Yeah, 47, almost 48. I'm 48 now. Fuck, I'm 48 now. Fuck!
There's white fans watching this that are about to blow their head off because they cannot believe you're I can't believe you're 48. People, it's crazy. People don't realize how old we are because of our youthful glow.
I know.
I was doing a show the other night and I was talking to some kid and he was 23 and I was like, I've been doing stand-up longer than you've been alive.
Yeah.
I've been doing stand-up 25 years. I just realized that today.
Oh, congrats.
25 years. I started summer. It may be 25 years like to the day. Who knows? Because it was the summer of my freshman year in college, which would have been 2001. So, that's
Who would have
wild
thought at the beginning of your journey, you're doing your first gig, that 25 years later, almost to the day, you'd be waiting for some guy to jerk off.
So I can go talk to a British brown guy who also does comedy. Wild world.
Who would have thought? I never would have thought that would even be a thing. Now, we've got your present. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. The first one of the presents we strongly suspect you've already got.
Okay.
But the other one I don't think you have.
Then, I'm curious why I'm still getting it, but I appreciate it. Wait, I have this. I was just looking. I'm not kidding. I just looked at this book like an hour ago.
To get you off?
That's why it took so long. I was like, I thought there was... it's really hard when you're working with Lamprey Guinea Fowl curry. No, I was looking at this book because I had some curry and I was going to make... I made kotoroti.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Kotoroti, yeah. And I was looking at this.
So Karen, who owns Hoppers, you're good friends with him, aren't you?
Yeah, I know Karen. I've met him a few times and we're pals and he's such a sweet guy. And when I edited Good Fortune, all the editing facilities are in Soho, and we were editing in Soho, and we were right down the street from Hoppers. So me and my editor, Daniel, we'd go there like 3 times a week.
It's difficult in Hoppers, because Hoppers is an incredible restaurant, obviously, but it's difficult to not overeat there, I think. So, like, you know, when you're talking
You
about...
got to really hold back. Yeah.
So
I'll just get like a dosa and sambar and say that's it.
Well, because if you're going back to an edit, you're playing a dangerous game there.
Yeah. You don't want to be with the full tummy trying to figure out the jokes. Yeah.
And then we got a second present for you.
Okay, let's see.
I don't know if you... Let's see how you feel about this.
The Rib Man Holy Fuck Sauce. Whoa, what's this?
So there's a guy called the Rib Man.
Okay.
And he is always outside the West Ham Stadium. He does ribs, but he also started doing hot sauce.
Uh-huh.
And he does like loads. There's Holy Fuck is one. There's Judas is Scary Hot. There's Christ on a Bike. Anyway, that is one of the best hot sauces I've ever tried.
Nice. All right.
It's
Thank you so much.
Really good. But
wow.
I would warn you, it does pack a punch.
Okay.
You need an adjustment period.
I won't eat it before I go in the edit.
No. I certainly wouldn't knock back a shot of it. But, you know, I just, you know, try. How good are you with hot sauces? Are you...
Well, I'm not that, you know, my mom's food is pretty mild, and my dad is not very into spice, so I ate milder stuff growing up. But as I got older and I started eating more Thai food and stuff, living in LA and everything, I think my spice tolerance has gone up a little bit, but I'm not in that, you know, crazy zone of loving.
You've never been through that phase that I think typically guys go through of like going, I can handle anything, man. Trust me. Like,
no,
give me
me.
Give me the hottest shit. Like, scrape the bottom of the pan and give me the hottest shit you possibly can. You're not like that guy. You've never been that guy.
That's not my vibe. No.
Is it true you hate the term food? You don't like the term foodie?
Well, I just think it sounds a little silly, but I mean, I feel like everybody likes food and not everybody, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's generally people are into things that are good food.
Yeah. Do you think London food's good?
I think London's got a great scene. Yeah.
How do you think? Because whenever we talk to Americans, particularly because I do a hip hop radio show, whenever we talk to rappers, whenever you go, what's it like to be playing London? They always talk about how shit the food is.
I think it's like maybe a dated stereotype, right?
I mean, we think so, but then we've got nothing to compare it with. We just got bad food and bad teeth.
I think London to me is on par with New York and LA.
There you go. Come on, we're hoping you'd say that.
Yeah.
And where are you? So you're over here now, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to sound like immigration, but you are.
No,
over here.
My wife and I met. It'll be like 9 years ago in October, and I moved here however many years ago, like right around before COVID, like 2019 maybe. But I still go back all the time. Like when I made Good Fortune, I was in LA all the time, and so I'm still in America quite a bit. So technically, I do live here, though. Yeah.
And how immersed are you in sort of Britishness? Do you feel part of it, or do you still feel like a visitor?
I still feel like a visitor,
right?
But yeah, there's still a lot of stuff I'm
like, have you picked up a football team or anything?
No, I've been to a couple of games with friends, and it's really fun to go, but I don't have like a team or anything.
Who did you go to watch?
I went to watch Chelsea with a friend of mine who's really into Chelsea. He's grown up watching Chelsea, fan. Oh, do you not like Chelsea? You're making a face.
No. Nothing against them, but I would end that relationship. Just on a gut feeling. I don't know anything else about them.
So he took me to the game, and, you know, they were down.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, there was a couple of minutes left. I said, hey, should we just leave to beat the traffic? And he couldn't believe I said this. He's like, no. And I was like, okay, sure. And then we stayed, and then it was so exciting. They came back, and they won. They got like 2 or 3 goals. You know, one of these things you never see. It really happened at the last minute. They got a few goals, and we were just fucking Chelsea. Yeah. And it was so fun.
Oh, that sounds fucking disgusting.
Who's your team?
Well, 3 of us in the room. Well, 4 of us in the room are Arsenal. And one is.
I went to an Arsenal game too, I think, and
I can't imagine that was as exciting.
It was the same thing. They won at the last minute.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
But the difference is they did fuck all for the first 90, I imagine. Now, I would love to talk to you about Master of None. First of all, incredible show.
Thanks.
One of those shows that I'm sure people have told you it is annoyingly good. Oh. You know, you sort of watch that, and it was so many beautiful themes tackled in it. incredibly shot. I mean, Ben's a director. You found it jizzworthy, didn't you?
I didn't say the word jizzworthy.
No, but
I'll go along with
you
the
were
sentiment.
talking around that area, weren't
Yeah,
you?
it was definitely nothing.
You loved it though, didn't you? It felt like a proper turning point for you, and it's so different from like Parks and Rec, for example. What made you just start to make a show of that nature? Because it felt so different to anything that come out before as well.
I think I was on doing Parks and Rec, and I was good friends with one of the writers, Alan Yang. And when I first started Parks, I remember someone said, often people do these shows, and then they find a writer they're kind of connect with, and then they go make their own show. And Alan was a guy who was around my age. We had similar interests. We got along really well. We were both pretty young. I can't believe how young I was when I did Parks and Rec. Like, me and Aubrey were like in our early 20s, which just seems so crazy to me. And so I got along well with Alan, and we started talking about a show. And it was just, there's so many things when you're working on a project, there's so many things that are out of your control that if they go the right way, it can make a big difference. Being in the right place, in the right time, in the right moment culturally, and Master of None kind of had all those things. Netflix had just come out, and this was an era of Netflix when, like, anytime a new Netflix show came out, I don't think Netflix was even here yet at the time, but whenever a new Netflix show came out, people were excited. Like, there's a new Netflix show, which just seems crazy now, right?
Yeah.
And everybody was getting into it, and the idea of watching shows on there, and then the idea of a show like that, starring a guy that looked like me, talking about the things we were talking about, it just didn't happen. And Netflix, they were giving us so much creative freedom, and because Netflix was so small, they didn't even have people to tell you can't do stuff. I mean, I tell this story a lot where we pitched the show, we pitched it to Sarandos, like he was the guy. Now he's like a famous guy. Like, we pitched directly to him, he was sitting behind 3 posters. It was Orange is the New Black, House of Cards, and Lilyhammer, and he was like ready to do it. He was ready to give us 10 episodes, and we got to make the show we wanted to make, and then the second season, I think we really knew. Second season of a show like that, I think you kind of have an advantage because you know what you want to do, and you can really push it and make an even better show, which I think we did. And it was a great experience, and I'm so glad we got to do it, and I'm proud of the show.
When did you realize that it was going to have the impact that it did? Was there a turning point where you're like, oh, holy shit, we made something really great?
When that first season came out, it was kind of nuts. Like, the reviews are very effusive. It seemed like everyone was watching it, and I remember being with Alan at the premiere, and I was like, man, we should really enjoy this because there are some great careers, and sometimes people don't get multiple things that kind of pop this well. Like, I even someone like Mike Nichols, right? Like, you look at Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf and The Graduate. That was those were peaks that he maybe never really reached that high again. And that guy is a legend. He's done so much stuff. So those moments where you really kind of hit everything, where it's like the thing is good, people like it, critics like it, and it's having this cultural moment, that's rare. So you could feel that, and then the second season when that came out, it just felt like, now it just feels like there's just so much stuff, and like it seems so hard to break through. Like that, it just felt like it just felt like everybody in New York. I lived in New York at the time, and it was like, it was all a little bit overwhelming for me. Like, it just felt like, oh wow, everybody has seen this, and it's, I went away for a while and went and stayed in Paris for a bit, in Japan, because it was a lot.
Yeah. With the parents episode, that episode is like it's an incredible encapsulation of what it's like to be a child of immigrants, right? In terms of like taking for granted what your parents have gone through to get get you to a position of privilege, and then how much we then take that for granted and don't pay that any respect at all. Mm-hmm. And also your actual parents are in that. So So how important was it, first of all, to tell that kind of part of your story?
I remember, so we were supposed to do the show at a certain point, and then Parks and Rec got picked up for another few episodes. So we had to delay starting work on our show. And it was a little frustrating for Alan and I because I think we were ready to do this. But it was a great gift because it gave us more time to keep thinking about it. And we wrote a version of the show, like an episode, and in that time, we eventually threw that away and just wrote something, and the show became different. It became much different than what we originally pitched, you know? But I remember I was with Alan. We were in New York. I was staying in some hotel there, and we were just talking about different ideas, and Alan started saying a story about his father, about how, it's crazy. We're sitting here in New York in this beautiful hotel room, and we're trying to come up with ideas for a TV show. A generation ago, my dad, grew up with a dirt floor, and he had to kill his pet chicken for dinner. He had a pet chicken, and one day his dad told him he had to kill it so they could cook the chicken for dinner. And then here we are, just one generation later.
I mean, it's a great lesson about the origins of food, isn't
it? And I said, whoa, that should be in the show. That's super interesting. And we just went towards that. And then, it's weird because doing that episode, my parents saw that. And I think other parents saw that, and I don't think they ever thought about some of those things. Like, there's a thing in there where he's like, "Oh, my parents never say I'm proud." If I landed on the moon, they'd be like, "Why didn't you go to Mars?" And I think my parents, they started saying they were proud of me more often after that.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't think they thought about it like that.
What did they think about you? Because I taught maths before I became a comedian, and that is like one of the brown respect jobs. Do you know what I mean? Like my mum and dad were my dad was a bit more blasé, as you know. He topped us a lot of the time, but my mum was like it was really important to her how the jobs that her children were doing were seen by the community and all of those things. So then when I made the move to comedy, my mum was in particular was not that happy about it.
How old were you when you started? It was
quite late, so it must have been 30, 31, something like that.
Oh wow!
So I went into it. I've been doing it as like a little hobby, and then it occurred to me that I could do it for a job, and so I started doing it for a job. And when I quit teaching, my mum was not happy, and now she's obviously delighted. It's worked out very financially well for her, and she's on the podcast as well. But but she was concerned. Like, how supportive were your parents about you doing this?
Well, I was thinking about this the other day. I was with some comedians here, and one of them had told me they started maybe 4 years ago. And I was thinking about, and this goes for when you started as well. If someone starts now, there's a real path to
There's
success.
a trajectory, yeah.
Yeah, and you can see like all these people that are doing theaters and making a lot of money and doing podcasts, and it seems like, I think there's people that start now, they're like, oh, I could make a lot of money doing this, right?
Yeah.
And when I started, and I think when you started, it was like telling people you're starting to juggle. It's like, what are you doing? I'm juggling. I'm going to some juggling I'm just trying to get good at juggling. Really? Why? I like juggling. There was no thought of making money or any kind of real future. I had no thought of acting or any of that, much less directing, screenwriting. That all kind of evolved as I evolved in my career. But my parents, I was in college when I started doing it, but I never was like, I'm dropping out of college to pursue this.
Right. Okay.
And by the time I was finished college, enough things were in play. I started being in magazines and things like that, and it started getting more legitimate. But, at first it's a weird industry, and it's hard to kind of really convey when you're doing well. I opened up for Patton Oswalt at Caroline's. Okay, great. But eventually, once, how it is, once everything starts going well, they're like, I was there beside him the whole time. I told him, you got to stop being a math teacher. You got to devote yourself to this.
Well, no, I had that exact conversation with my mum because, I had... All I wanted to do is I just want to get to a point where I can pay the bills from doing comedy, right? That was the ambition, right? If I can pay for my groceries from doing stand-up, that's amazing, right? And then And then when I started doing like TV and stuff, then my mum said, it's all good, it's worked out. But I said to her, if I'd have been paying my bills, but I wasn't on TV, it still worked out, right? Yeah. That's still a success. But for my mum, it's like, she won't admit it now, but I think it's very much like what her friends are telling her. Her friends are saying to her, it's really, Romesh has done so well. She wants that. That to her is success, like, whereas if I'd have been working the circuit and stuff and not made it to whatever you want to call it, getting profile or whatever, I don't think she would have reacted the same way. I think she still would have had doubts. But your parents aren't like that.
I think I was very young and things just started coming to me pretty quickly, and once they start coming to show, like I remember, I don't think I'd really brought them to a big theater show until I did Carnegie Hall, and this is me being stupid as a younger guy. Like, I was like, oh my God, they should see one of these shows. I've been doing theaters and my mom and dad, they'd never seen it. And so I told them they should come out. I remember I had this one kind of, oh man, I was really sad. I hosted the MTV Movie Awards, which is a big deal.
Yeah.
And it was really fun. And my brother was with me. And we were at like this whole after party and everything. And my brother and I, we called my parents and I was like, what am I doing? Like, they should have been here for this. I should have asked them to come out. And after that, anytime I do anything that has any, feels like a fun night like that, I always bring them out and make sure they come. And they always do. And they end up staying late at all the parties and everything. Everyone's so excited to see them there, especially after the show. People, all these people get so excited to see them. And so, yeah.
Was it important for you to put them in the show?
Well, I originally was going to get actors, and I auditioned people, and I just couldn't find anyone that really felt like what I was trying to convey. They felt like actors, and it felt like someone doing kind of a bad impression of my parents. And I didn't mean that in a disrespectful way to the actors, but there's a difference between getting the real deal. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, there's, I've watched a couple episodes of your podcast, but I didn't see the one with the stuff with your mom. But like, there's something fun about that, and there's something very real about it. And to capture their real dynamic, which I think that episode does, like their real silliness and how ridiculous. And my dad is very funny. He's a really funny actor, because what makes something funny is someone doing something unexpected or making an odd choice in a scene, and he does things that make no sense to me. And so where did you? Even when we did Good Fortune, he did a little thing in that. And I was like, hey, just start dancing. And he started doing this thing like this. I was like, what is this? And he had like so that there's a scene in Good Fortune where he's in, and he had like a long thing, and it was just too long for him to memorize. And I was like, okay, just walk up to Keanu. Like, the bit is basically like, Keanu sees my dad at this party, and then he realizes something about my character, that I've been deceitful about something because my dad is there. So I was like, okay, just go up to Keanu and just say whatever.
Yeah.
And then he just walked over and went, hello, and then walked away. And then and Keanu just rolled with it. He was like, hi. But it was just, I remember I was with Alan, and I was like, there you go. We wouldn't have thought that would work, just writing hello, but he just did it in a funny way, and it worked.
How close is Dev to you? In terms
to me, I don't know. I mean, that guy now, it's 10 years ago, I mean, I'd say it's probably not the same as like Larry David and the Larry David and Curb. That feels pretty close. I think the guy in Master of None and me, it's like, a little different.
Yeah. There's a degree of separation.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got a question from my mother.
Oh, great!
But I don't know what the question is.
Okay.
So it's a voice note.
Oh.
So please don't embarrassingly try to interact. She's not on the line.
Hi, Aziz. I'm Shanthi, Romesh's mom. I have heard a lot about you. Fantastic career, and I understand. Do you have any tips for America. Romesh once tried to do a gig at Greek Theatre in LA, but nobody wanted to buy tickets.
Okay.
It made me sad as well. I heard you always sell out. Any tips? Welcome. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
Oh,
I'd
my
love to
God.
watch your program one day, and I hope it will happen. Have a wonderful day. Speak to you soon. Bye.
Wait,
She
it
said-
sounded like a dig at me at the
Well,
end.
it was
I
weird.
hope
That
to
was
watch
weird.
one
It
of
was
your
a weird
programs
end. I
one
felt
day.
like
But
it's-
anyway,
I feel like it was really sweet, and then she said she might watch your program one day. Like it's really difficult to do. It's like that one-
you can't cast someone to do that. That's the real deal. What did she ask? She was asking. Oh, you tried to do a. Also, I don't think you can try to do a show. You did the gig. It sounds like it didn't sell.
Well, no,
but-
we did a thing. We did a thing for Showtime where it's like I was going to try and sell out the Greek Theatre 3 months after arriving in LA,
Oh wow.
and so we did this like series of stunts and stuff, and it was like, but you directed, didn't you? But we had a
Yeah.
nice time. It's kind of like a comedy documentary thing. Anyway, the whole aim was we were just going to see what happens, and what happened was we sold so few tickets that we could fit everybody that attended onto the stage, and so
It's nice.
it
Shut
was
the
like, it was
curtains.
intimate. We shut the curtain. There was no need for any of the seats, and everyone just sat on the stage. I mean, it was a very expensive experiment. Actually. It was like we all said it was sweet afterwards, but really that was to talk me off the ledge. But you sold out at Madison Square Garden. That
I did.
is. What was that like? I mean,
it was insane. I mean, even when I look back, like that was nuts. I did 2 shows in one night, which
Yeah.
seems insane to me because I don't think I could do that today. That was a lot of tickets. That all came together at the right moment.
Yeah.
It was insane.
Did you have to disassociate from what was going on? Like, how do you handle that kind of?
I think that period, even when you start, just doing theaters and all this stuff, it all kind of becomes a blur. You never take a minute to really sit down and be like, oh, wow, this is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, when I'm planning a tour now, like I've looked back at like old tour schedules and been like, whoa, that was a lot. I really traveled a lot that year. I can't believe I did all that.
Yeah. So where does stand up sit in your? Do you consider yourself primarily a stand up? Like what's your kind of? I mean, you're a polymath, but like where does stand up sit? Is it your first love? Do you think?
I think the frustrating thing for me at this moment is I love 2 things. I love stand up and I love filmmaking.
Mm.
And they're both things, the more you give them your all, the better they're going to go.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of trying to do both at the same time, and it's really hard. Like I want to tour, but I'm also trying to make this movie in the fall.
Yeah.
But filmmaking is it's so frustrating because there's so many things you can't control. You're waiting on actors to read a script and decide if they want to do your movie. You're waiting on financiers to decide if those actors are famous enough. You've got enough, all that kind of stuff. Whereas stand up, you're in full control, and there's something really beautiful about how it's so pure. It's just you talking to a microphone. And I'm sure you go through this too. Like sometimes you're like, I don't feel like doing stand up. Last night I don't really do a lot of stand up when I'm in London, but I've slowly started to do a couple of shows.
Have you been doing? I think somebody saw you. Was it the Bill? Did you do the Bill Murray?
Yeah. I was there last night.
Right.
And I just dropped in there, and I didn't really have anything, and I was like, eh. And then sometimes you do those shows in the crowd, and something it just starts going, and then you have this one thing that you try that works, and then you're like, ooh, that's good. Now I gotta get obsessed and figure out that bit. And that's a fun feeling. So I'm going to New York on Sunday for a couple of weeks, and I'm going to do a lot of stand up while I'm there, and I'm going to try to write some new stuff.
You came up in the New York scene, right? Stand up scene.
I did. I started doing stand up summer 2001. I started doing open mics and all those kind of things, and those shows where you pass out flyers and all these things, and then slowly worked my way up through the club scene and also alternative rooms. There was that scene and yeah, I came up doing all that stuff, and then I kind of moved to LA when Parks and all that stuff was happening. But I was always doing stand up, and whenever Parks had a break off seasons, I would always do a lot of touring. I get offered movies or different projects, but they were never anything that felt as exciting as just going on tour and doing stand up.
Because in New York, as a British comic,
Mm-hmm.
I started to. I didn't go to the States to do stand up for a while, and then when I first started trying to gig in New York, I mean, I feel like the general perception is that New York has the best comedians in the world, in terms of the standard. And I remember, and then when you start going and working the clubs in New York, everybody's really, really good, right? And it feels like if you can emerge from there, then you must be pretty decent, right? I mean, it's like New York is kind of, the standard is incredibly high, right? I mean, have you noticed a difference between New York and other places that you've gone to and watched stand-up?
I mean, New York, they're definitely, I don't know, I think there's some merit to that. I feel like I'm a little bit of an old guy now, I go and I don't know a lot of the people there.
Yeah.
There's people that opened up for me like 2 tours ago. Now they're doing theaters. Like things move so fast now. But yeah, you go and you can watch people that are really crushing. Yeah.
I remember like going to, I was like doing a documentary out there, and then I thought I'd go and get on stage while I was out there. And then I got booked to do some gig, or managed to get some gig at, and I was like the 9th act on. First of all,
what was the show?
It was, I think it was Mark Norman's show at the
Fat Black Pussycat.
That's the one.
Okay, yeah.
So
the little room. Near
the
cellar.
little room. Yeah, and it's a great room.
Yeah.
I was on 9th.
Yeah.
All of the 8 people on before me were unbelievable. And just as I watched each person, I just thought, I don't think I want to do this. Like, normally, I'll be honest with you, Aziz, you have some shit people, and there's a couple of people that are good, and you think, okay, this will be all right. When you watch fucking 8 killers, and then it's like, I do think it's like pretty mad standing in New York.
It's so interesting because I used to go to the Comedy Cellar when I was first starting out and just watch people. And the way it's changed, it used to be that, someone would have their act and it would be 15 minutes. And every time you saw them, they'd do those same 15 minutes. Now it's like all these people are trying to, tour and churn out and develop new material, have a new hour and go on tour. And it's all changed. And now the Cellar used to be like you'd have the 7:30 show and the 9:30 show.
Yeah.
Right. And sometimes they wouldn't sell enough tickets for the 9:30 show that they would tell the 7:30 people, hey, you can just stay and watch the 9:30. And this is even after it got to the point where I had reached a level where they would let me drop in, right?
Yeah.
So I'd drop in on the 7:30 and I'd be like, hey, can I drop in on the 9:30? They're like, no. It's the same people. Don't do it. I was like, oh, okay. And now they have, how many? They have the Comedy Cellar, they have the Village Underground, they have the Fat Black Pussycat, they have the bar. They have like 4 or 5 different rooms that they have multiple shows a night. They're always sold out.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy how popular,
do you know,
just comedy and that place is.
Yeah, I did that. When you do the audition for the Cellar. Yeah. That was one of the most.
So you did the audition for Esty?
Yeah. So I went. You go and do the thing, and then you don't sit with the other comics because you haven't done the audition yet. So you go sit at the bar, and then they come over. You go down the stairs. It's terrifying. When the light comes on, you've got 5 minutes. Good luck. Whatever. It's like deliberately. It's willfully hostile, right? It felt like it to me. And then I got introduced on. One British guy lost his shit.
Love that.
Nobody else gave a fuck. And then the set went fine, had a good set. And then as I walked off, it was like I was made. It felt incredible, man.
That's great.
It was so, but that whole experience is a mad experience.
That's a special room, and it's why I'm going to New York to work on stuff there, because it's got a certain energy, and I love doing these bigger venues, but I really love a small comedy club.
Yeah.
Even like Bill Murray in London.
Yeah.
There's something about those intimate shows. I've always, in my heart, I feel more at home there.
Yeah. It's just a shame they're not as lucrative, isn't it?
They're not. Yeah.
No. So how would you say, I mean, you described yourself as one of the older guys. How has your stand-up changed, do you think, over the years? Like, what are you now compared to how you were even a few years ago? Have you changed your style?
Well, I was doing stand-up a lot when I was pretty young to be doing some of the stuff I was doing. I was pretty young when I was doing theaters and stuff, which I think was part of the reason I was able to gain an audience, because there wasn't a lot of, people that were talking about the stuff that someone my age could relate to when I was then. And now I'm just older. I just don't know as much stuff. And I'm like a little bit more old guard, but in a cool way. And you kind of grow with your audience, like, this tour, I come out and talk about how I'm married now and everything. And I think if I came out and I was like, yeah, so anyway, these dating apps, people be like, damn, man, come on. Like, let's get it together, Aziz. Yeah. So it's good to kind of, grow with your audience a bit and you have new things you're talking about. And it's fun to see the audience and you kind of grow together. There's something interesting about comedy where I remember I saw... I think Ben Stiller was talking about some interview and he said like after Zoolander 2, he was like, whoa, I can't believe I was that off. Like I thought I understood what people thought was funny. And he was a little bit taken aback with the reception of that film. And I think comedy is something, a lot of times it's hard to really keep up as you get older. Yeah. And I think that's something that's really valuable about stand-up is like, you're there, you're with the people, so hopefully that keeps you a little bit sharper. Yeah, definitely. And I do think that stand up, I feel like it moves so quickly, and I think if you spend too long out of the clubs or not doing it for a while, you can get left behind super quick, or like it just whips along so quickly. Stand-up's one of those things. The more you do it, the better you're going to be. It's that simple. And what gets tough is as you get older, for me now, it's like, oh, I'm married. If I go to New York and, my wife is here and, if I wasn't married, I'd probably be like, let's stay in New York if I wasn't married and I could just be gone as much as I want, I'd be like, all right, let's go to New York and then let's go to Zany's in Nashville. Let's go to the Punchline set. Let's really get this set in such good shape. Yeah. And I try to do my best to get to that amount of reps, but if you have responsibilities, whether it's kids, marriage, whatever, you can't go quite that hard. No, you can't. And also, you hopefully are just better because you got more time. You got more chops. I think definitely that's true. You don't need work a little bit faster. Yeah. I remember I was at the Cellar and I saw Trevor Noah, and it was like maybe 8:30, and he was just sitting there having dinner, and I was like, "Are you going up later?" And he was like, "No, I'm done." I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Oh, I just asked them if I could do a show at like 6, and I do that, and then I'm done." And I was like, I'm doing that because I used to stay up till like 1 a.m, just going around. I was like, I'll do the Trevor mode. I'll just go 6 o'clock, do it, and then maybe do one show at 8:30, and then I'm done. Because I, also with jet lag and all that stuff, I can't stay up till 1 doing the sets and stuff. I'm not as I don't have the energy, and I'm just kind of tired, and it's just not as good. But every now and then I'll get you'll get fueled by that energy of trying to figure out a bit. I know, yeah. And then you can keep going. I mean, that's what's crazy about the Cellar, right? You can start at like 8 o'clock and you have like this little germ, and you can do like 5 shows in one night, and then by the end it's like, oh whoa, I got it. Which is really fun. So hypothetical. Yeah. What's the gist of that show? I mean, it's a lot of the things we've been talking about now about, being married and try, it's about trying to have a family, which is so interesting to see, people react to that, because you can tell a lot of people have been dealing with this and not a lot of people talk about it. They're pretty private about it, for obvious reasons. And, and it's just kind of it's kind of where I'm at now. And, it's just fun to be touring again. I hadn't done it in a while, and to have that immediate reaction. And it's interesting with the movie. You like write a joke in a script, and by the time you get to hear the laugh, it could be years. I wrote a joke in Good Fortune, and it was years before I heard it play in a theater and heard a big laugh. But it's super cool. It's like, oh shit, Keanu said that, and it got a big laugh from 300 people in Burbank. That's awesome. But it's a long lead time. Yeah. Whereas like, oh man, there's just something about the energy of being in a stand-up show and just, it's great. I mean, I think there's something so special about, seeing a live show, and it's why it's exploded. So many people are touring, and it's a really special thing to be able to do it, and I'm really grateful that people come out, and I try not to take it for granted. What are your rules about how open you're willing to be? Like,
some people, like their other halves, say, "I don't want you to talk about this. I don't need to mention us at all." Or like, how exposing are you willing to let your stand-up be?
There hasn't been anything my wife is. I think my rule is like, my wife's like, "Hey, don't do that," then I'm not going to do it.
Sure, that feels
That's about
pretty
it.
bloody minded.
Yeah, there's been nothing. Yeah, I guess that'd be pretty bad if I was like, my wife's like, "Don't say it," but I just say it. I don't care. No rules. No, my wife's like, "Hey, don't," but she's been pretty chill about all this stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think she loves it, but you know what's weird is like, the stand-up she doesn't mind as much, but sometimes when you're like writing screenplays where like, oh, my character is like cheating on his wife, and she's like, "Yeah, don't love this." Don't love reading this with you.
And you're doing the Royal Albert Hall.
Yeah, which is one of the greatest venues to do stand-up in the world. I did it, I think 5 years ago when I did a tour called Road to Nowhere, and it was one of my favorite shows. And it's a hard venue to block in. And so whenever this date opened up in July, I was like, "Oh man, yeah, let's do it."
It's going to be amazing, man. Royal Albert Hall's great to do anything really, but well, not do anything. I mean, but stand-up, great.
Yeah. No, I'm really excited to go back.
Now, can we talk about Parks and Recreation a little bit?
Of course, yeah.
Cult favorite? Are you sick of talking about it yet?
No, I that was a great experience, and the best part of the experience is those people, and I still keep up with them. I see them, and we're in contact, and it's always a joy whenever we get to see each other.
That show, the chemistry between the cast of that show, it just felt like you were watching something kind of unique, right? In terms of everybody fizzing off of each other and all that stuff. I guess you can't ever know if that's going to happen, you know. So you cast good people. You cast good people in hope for the best.
Yeah.
Did it feel like very, very quickly that this was a special group of people that had got together?
I think it always felt like a special group, but when the show was on, you know, every season, we thought we were going to get canceled.
Right.
Every season, are we doing season 2? Are we doing season 3? It was never certain. And we kind of just kept trudging along. And now the show has got a second life from streaming and all these things. And it's a really beloved show. But at the time we were making it, we were like, "Oh my God, we're going to be able to keep making this?" And
yeah.
So, but yeah, I love all those people. And yeah. It was a great experience.
How? Because obviously now as you talked about having a second life, you can watch infinite videos online of like bloopers and improvised lines and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That gives you the impression that shit was happening like left, right, and centre. Have we just watched all of the clips and actually it was quite straight? I mean, like
those are the clips that are really fun to watch because, you know, every now and then, if I'm on tour and in a hotel room and have cable, the show will pop up and I'll watch a few minutes of it. And, you know, that stuff's kind of a blur. But when you watch those behind the scenes bloopers things, that really feels like, oh man, that was I remember that stuff. And that was what the day-to-day felt like. I mean, was every scene like that where there's a funny blooper? No. But like, we had a great time. We all got along well. And it was just such a dream gig, you know? And those kind of shows where, oh, you're going to do 100 episodes and you just, I don't know if those kind of jobs really exist anymore. It's so much different than making a film or even a show like Master and None.
Yeah.
I mean, I just showed up, said the lines and went home. It was a really easy gig. It was, and you're working with great people behind the camera and in front of the camera. And it was a great experience.
Parks and Rec to Master, I mean, obviously completely different, but did being in Parks and Rec and how big that show became, did that exert any pressure on you in terms of what you were going to do in Master and None?
I think there's something about the bravado of youth.
Right.
And me and Alan were just young guys and we didn't think about a world where the thing we were doing wasn't going to work. We were just so confident because we didn't know anything.
Yeah.
And it's a huge advantage you don't think about. You know, when I'm making I'm trying to put together a movie now, and whenever I'm looking at the budget and all this stuff, and I'm really in the weeds, and I'm worried about this and that, and I didn't worry about anything when I made Masternaut. Not that it was easy. It was really, both of those seasons, it was a lot of work and it really took a lot out of me. And then we did third season as well, which is just a little bit of a different thing, but it was a lot. But in those early seasons, we hadn't done enough to know what could go wrong.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, and that's an advantage, right?
Yeah, and Netflix was also just letting us do stuff, stuff that like, hey, we want to do an episode where I'm not in it at all.
Yeah.
A lot of shows do that kind of thing now, but back then they were like, are you, what? And then, there were things that we were just excited about doing that normally I don't think you'd be allowed to do, but they just, I don't know, they just didn't have anybody to tell us no, and then we did it and it went well, so then we got to keep doing it. And
then how did that move on to, you're now a filmmaker and you're making movies. How did that come about?
Well, I made 2 seasons of that show and they wanted us to keep doing more, and I kind of just, by the time we'd finished the second season, it just felt like there was a lot of that type of show. Whereas when we first started doing it, there wasn't many shows like that.
Yeah, but so then you made an impact, didn't you? I mean, like you changed what those type of shows were, right?
I think it helped to, with our show at Atlanta, all these things, it kind of was a model of like, hey, this can work.
Yeah,
and like, there's something cool about, having a person kind of have their vision of these kind of shows. And then whenever we did the third season Master, I was like, okay, this would be what's interesting to me. Like, take everything people like about the show and get rid of it. Make it into a lesbian drama. Don't tell anybody. And then just piss everybody off. It was very nihilistic. And, but I love it. I mean, it's one of these things I look back, I'm like, wow, I can't believe we pulled that off. It got great reviews. I got to work with Naomi Aki and Lena, who was, they're both such amazing actresses, and but it was much different than what we were doing. And if I could do it again, I probably would have just said, hey, let's do this and call it something else. We're going to piss people off too much. Whatever. It's fine. But I wanted to, do something. What's cool about films is like you live in this world for a bit and then you move on. It's hard for me to like do a show and like you got to keep coming up. You're in this world for a long time. And I wanted to do something where it's like, okay, you can get in and get out and then just do something completely different about whatever I feel like writing about now. So, I had good fortune, and now I've been writing a couple other things that I want to try to do, but it's hard to make movies now.
How difficult is it for Aziz Ansari to make a movie? Like Good Fortune, was that a tough sell, or were people just ready to throw money at you?
Well, I had Seth, and so me and Seth were kind of the package, and then we were kind of set up, and then Keanu came on board. And once Keanu comes on board, that's, then you're kind of set. Yeah. But just me by myself, it's not easy. I mean, I used to think like, oh, like just being an actor, that seems insane to me for me. Because, okay, what are the chances? Like, how many movies came out last year that you even liked?
Yeah.
Okay, and in those, how many of those was there a part you could even do? And okay, if you could even do it, how far down the list are you? How many people have to say no before they really get to you?
Yeah.
So it seems like a game you're going to lose. But then a couple months ago, I had the other thought, which is like, on the other end, if you're trying to make something, there's only a few people that really kick the door open, right? So what are the chances one of them is right to play a part in the movie? What are the chances they're even available? Because everybody's chasing these people. There's only a few of them. Because we're in a weird zone where there's not a ton of those people. There used to be a lot of people that could kind of help you. But now it's like there's a very limited pool of people to pull from. So what are the chances they make sense, that they want to do it, that they're available? It's a really tough game. And the other thing is I'm trying to be in all the movies. I want to act. I got to get myself a plum part. So it gets tough.
Yeah. And do you think films and stand-up are the things you're going to be doing for the foreseeable, right?
I guess. I listened to your podcast you did with James Acaster, and you said something that it was really interesting to listen to you guys speak, because obviously I related to so much because I'm a comedian like you guys, and you were saying something about how you're like, yeah, I'm going to put it out. We'll see what happens. It was like you weren't chasing Like you didn't have that demon that was making you chase.
No.
That guy's still in me. I don't know how to get rid of him. But I did just, I spent a lot of time. You know what I do that's kind of meditative for me is I cook a lot.
Right.
And I was like, if my wife and I have a kid and I'm just kind of a guy that cooks and takes care of the kid, and maybe that's enough. Maybe I don't need to make stuff, but I don't know. Sometimes movie stuff especially, there's so many parts that are not fun, that like all the kind of lead up to actually getting on the set is just not fun. But once you're there, it's the funnest thing, and if you can actually pull it off, it's a lot of fun. But sometimes it gets frustrating.
But getting rid of that demon is not like getting rid of the demon of like wanting to, like, I can't imagine a time when I will not want to do stand up. The difference is not caring about what the result is. Like what I mean, and I don't mean creatively. I mean how it does. So, like for example, you make Good Fortune.
Yeah.
How worried and anxious are you about how that film does? Like, how big a part of that process is that for you?
Well, it's scary because you know how much goes into a movie. Yeah. You know how much work it is, and you see these movies that come out and no one cares about them. Yeah. They're just like a fart in the wind.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my God, I hope that doesn't happen with me. And you want it to have some sort of impact. You want people to see it because you put so much work into it. You don't want it to just go into a void and no one see it. And it's tough to figure out how to do that today because there's so much stuff and it's so hard to break through. But yeah, so anytime like a friend texts me, hey, I saw Good Fortune, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so glad you saw it. Thanks so much. I'm so thrilled. It's funny. You go through phases of your career where people are like, hey man, love Parks and Rec. Like, you gotta watch Master of None. And then they're like, hey man, love Master of None. Like, you gotta watch Good Fortune. But I'm always just kind of like, I'm excited about Good Fortune, but that was like something I wrote a long time ago. I'm already like 2 movies ahead in my head.
Yeah. No,
and it takes a while to catch up. But no, I don't think I would. I say that stuff, but I would always want to be creative, especially with stand-up, because that's such a low barrier to entry. Just to go up and do stand-up,
I know
that is so. It's so beautiful how simple that is.
I know. What I love about it is it's so easy to start doing it, but it's so difficult to get any good at it at all. Like that. That's addictive. To try and do the stand-up that you really want to do is hard. Do you know what I mean? And like every time I've done a show, at the time I'm doing the show, I think this is really good. And then I reckon 30 seconds after I walk off stage, after I've done the last one, I think, oh, that was a shit show. I need to do a good show, man. Do you know what I mean? Like,
why do you feel the show's bad?
Every time you do it, you just sort of think that isn't. You're trying to. I feel like I'm trying to get the show. The show that when I finish,
like the hour.
Like the show that when I look back on my career, I go, that's the show that I want to point people at. I haven't done that show yet.
I feel the same way. When I look at my old stuff, I don't fully love it, and I just don't think it's as good as I am now. Which makes sense because I'm a lot older, and I haven't put out a real special in a few years. I did a little special during COVID, but that was so in that moment. That's why I'm excited about this tour and recording it eventually. But doing an hour, it's interesting, and I've done shows where you do a show in Atlanta, like that was amazing, and then you do Nashville, like, oh, that one didn't feel right, and it's like, I bet if you asked the people in the audience, they thought it was the same thing.
I know. I mean,
it's all in our heads.
That is definitely true.
I'm trying to do that show like you're talking about. And I think this will be that, I hope. And the other thing is that you want to make something that feels like, oh, it'll make sense to people a long time from now, and that's tough because you kind of want to do some stuff that's about what's happening in the world right now.
I know. That's tricky because there's so much shit going on that you just sort of think, I've got to lock in on this, right? But then that'll obviously timestamp it or whatever. It's difficult.
Yeah.
Right, we're going to play a little game, Aziz.
Sure, tell me.
It's called Misquoted. I'm going to read 4.
Wait, I saw you do this. I'm gonna hate hearing these things I said.
So 5 things. Some of them you said, some of them you didn't.
Okay.
Good luck. There's no stakes whatsoever.
Okay.
It's Misquoted. Here's your first one. When the iPhone 18 Pro Max comes out, it'll be the 3rd time I've camped outside the Apple Store.
I definitely didn't say that. That one was easy.
Yeah. You're into flip phones, is that right?
I have a flip phone. Yeah.
Why do you like flip phones so much?
I like. It just gives me more space. I just don't like all that stuff.
So are you a dumb phone guy?
I mean, this is the one I have. It's this like a Nokia one.
Oh,
and
shit.
It's so bad. Like, if I press the number 0, the phone turns off. So if I want to call a number that says 0, like it's 020, I have to text my wife the number and then call it from the chain.
Can you flick it in a cool way, though? Can you flick it open in a kind of...
No, it's more about the... That's
the shot.
cool.
That's it's a powerful shot. It's a great way to end a meeting.
Yeah.
So how long have you been... That feels like almost like a religious decision. But so how long ago did you decide that you wanted to stick with that kind of phone?
I don't know. I think it first started with I used to have like a second phone that didn't have anything on it.
Yeah.
Like a dumb phone. And that like had no browser and everything, which I remember at first I was like, what am I going to do without a browser? And then you realize, I don't need a browser. I used to not have a browser. It's okay. I don't need to look stuff up. And then I went from that to the flip phone.
Right. Yeah. And apart from the 0 thing, there's no marked disadvantages.
Oh, there's plenty. There's no, there's no Uber or anything. So, there's no Google Maps. There's nothing on there. There's no Spotify. There's nothing. But I'm okay. To me, it's worth it to just kind of, I find like just being able to focus is a huge luxury and not being distracted by other stuff. We've set up an environment that really encourages multitasking, which we know we're bad at.
I know. It's a good point. Fuck. Should we all smash our phones after this? Feels like it could be a moment. Okay, here's your next one. By the way, that's correct. Well done. You must feel very proud of yourself. Okay, did you or did you not say this? I was certain this dude was a dildo.
I did say that. That was for my SNL monologue, right?
Yeah. The day after Trump's inauguration, and how it made you reflect differently on the presidency of George W. Bush.
Yes, that was.
I remember when nobody in the UK believed that Trump was going to win that election, and even I remember I was on tour when that US election was happening, and I went to bed with obviously with the time difference, and the polls were looking like Trump was doing really well. And I thought, oh God, that's going. I guess all the states that would go the other way have not come in yet. Then went to bed, then woke up and was like, fuck, couldn't believe it. That's all I talked about for the first 20 minutes of my show that night because everybody was just in shock. But I mean,
as were we. That was I remember that night. I mean, I was filming Master of None season 2, and that happened, and we'd had like a party. Because we thought first female president, everyone's, what are we going to play? Aretha Franklin? What are we going to... It was that level of confidence. And then people started coming in. They're like, everyone's leaving the Hillary place. Like, they're leaving the center. Like, it's done. And I was like, what? Oh, my God. And then the next day we had to film some scene where some dude was being racist to me. And I was like, God, this is weird. It was not good. But I remember I landed in London when Brexit happened.
Right.
And everyone
That was a similar thing, yeah.
And everyone was thrown. And I was like, you got to explain this to me. I don't fully understand. And some lady said, this is like if Donald Trump became president. And I said,
what was it like doing SNL? Are you aware that there's a UK one now?
Yeah, I went to the taping of the first one. It was so fun. And I'm so glad that the SNL UK thing is happening. I think anything that's nurturing young talent and exposing people to that is great. And I think that show's really good and the cast is super talented. But yeah, I hosted the US SNL and that was so fun. Definitely a highlight of the career.
You're there the whole week, right? Getting involved in all of the stuff. Yeah, you're there the whole
week and yeah, it was super fun.
Yeah. Okay, you're 2 for 2. Okay. Well done. Here's your third one. Whenever I see Keanu, he still gives Major Neo energy.
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. If I did, it's misquoted.
No, you didn't say that. It's the real quote about him. You said is he looks like he drove straight from He looks like he drove straight from an anime movie into reality. That's what you actually said.
Yeah, because we would just rehearse at my house, and he would just show up on his motorcycle, and he just looked like an anime character. He's the coolest guy, and me and Seth are just sitting there like we're dorks.
Is he as cool as we've been all led to believe?
He's the best.
Right.
He's the best, and he's just done so much. I was watching him this morning. I watched The Devil's Advocate. It's on Criterion Channel, and I hadn't seen it in so long. It's great.
Yeah. It must. And how long did it take you to sort of? Because British people, we always get really starstruck with Americans. And Keanu would be like somebody that it would change your behavior. Did that happen to you?
He's like one of the few people that, at a certain point, you kind of see all these people.
Sure.
And then there's like a really, select group that still have that mystique. And he's one of those people. But over time, you kind of get used to it. And he's such a sweet guy and very humble
so he
guy.
Sort of gets rid of that pretty quickly.
Yeah. And he's aware of it. He kind of knows.
Yeah, he knows that it's going to have an effect, Yeah. Okay, here's your next one. The big advantage of writing for myself is I always agree to do my projects and I don't drop out.
Yeah, I definitely said that.
I was in Variety last year. That's a good guarantee, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the thing I think about when you are working with people who are actors and actors alone.
Yeah.
Is that I find it really... I find it so difficult to think of that you're at the mercy of other people deciding whether you should do this thing or not, and that's your only way of getting work, right? It feels pretty mad, right?
Wait, if you're the director?
If you're the actor, and you're
waiting for someone to send you the stuff.
You're just going to a different gatekeeper each time in the hope that they think you're the one.
Yeah,
in a really competitive
But some of those
field.
people that are super successful, they're just sitting there going, "Yeah, I don't want to do this." They're getting a lot of stuff, and some people. Keanu has been that guy for so long. The guy's been working since he was a kid. And it's never stopped.
God, that's incredible. Okay, you're 4 for 4. Well done. Really proud of you. This is your last one.
Okay.
Did you or did you not say this? Salads aren't bringing it hard enough.
This is from one of my specials. I remember that. Yeah. Do you ever listen to old stand-up and you forgot the bits?
Yeah, loads of times. Sometimes somebody will quote a bit back to you and you're like, I don't say that. What the fuck are you talking about?
Oh, yeah. That happens to me. Someone will be drunk and just say some bit that I don't remember and have no clue what they're doing. And they're like, you said that. I'm like, sorry.
Do you still stand by that?
Salads aren't bringing it hard enough. Yeah, they need to come a little harder.
Yeah. It's... I do think salads are done better in America than over here.
That bit was a while ago, so that's before all this kind of the sweet green and all these kind of things started coming. So maybe...
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not going to hold you accountable for that. You are 5 for 5. Well done, Aziz Ansari. That was great work. That's incredible. It's one of the best. I'll say that most people get 5 out of 5. But look, it's been a real pleasure to talk to you, man. Thank you so much. And a real honor. I'm such a fan. We're all massive fans.
Well, same for me to you. And I'm so glad we finally got to meet. And I hope to see you around more.
Yeah, same. Hopefully we'll gig at the Bill Murray together.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Yeah. Now, we like to try and end the podcast on a big moment.
Mm-hmm.
Could you give us we're after an exclusive, really. Do you have a dream you have, a hidden talent, something you haven't said publicly?
Okay, so yes, I brought something for you.
Great news.
Here's something I don't think I've talked about ever before. Every year, I started doing during COVID, I started making a cookbook for my friends. And now I've done 6 of them. So I brought you, you could take one of these because I don't have extras, but you can take any of these. I wanted to give you this one.
Is this real?
Yeah, these are real. This is the one that's the Indian recipes, but I only have one. I can get this for you. I have extras somewhere in LA or something I can get. But any of these you can take.
Okay, thank you.
This was last year.
Yeah.
This was 2021.
These are your cookbooks?
Yeah. But I never, I just make them for my friends.
This was generic 23. One we got Aziz pretty
that's real.
Doesn't it?
This is the first one.
This is like you deliberately went, I'm going to shit on your gift.
Yeah. There's way too much production value.
Can I just, do you mind if I just, this is an example of a book that Aziz has done for his friends. He's got an introduction. You've got a little thing about breakfast, what you like to do with... And then
Yeah,
there's the
it's mostly-
recipes.
it's
There's
usually-
illustrations. This is incredible.
Yeah, photos, everything. Yeah.
Frittata with mushrooms and rosemary. I do my zucchini. Do you mind if I read a bit?
Yeah,
I do my zucchini frittatas mostly in summer, and this is when I switch over to as we get into the colder months.
Wait, you got to do the audiobook because it sounds ridiculous hearing it out loud. This is why I don't release them publicly because it's truly absurd.
You could put these out though. Come on, man.
I kind
Look
of
at that
like that it's something that is just for
This
me.
is so cool. This is like, oh wow, man.
How many of them do you get made at each time?
Now you're asking how many friends have you
probably
got?
50 or something, and then I just give
50?
them, yeah, and they said,
Yeah, I guess when you get to bigger numbers, it makes it more cost effective, doesn't it? But
yeah.
The key to this heartwarming soup is some nice big butter beans.
Wait, you got to keep doing this.
Also, in general, got to give a shout out to nice jars of beans. I've never been able to get into the whole soak the beans overnight madness. Who the fuck knows they want beans the day before? This is funny shit, man.
Oh, it's fun.
Thank you so much. Please, can you give it up for Aziz Ansari? That was great,
Thanks.
man. Thank you
thanks.
so much. Yo, thanks for watching and listening to the Romesh Ranganathan show. Sup, y'all? It's genuinely lovely that so many of you keep coming back. But I'm hearing rumours, nay, hearsay and conjecture that some of you haven't subscribed yet. If you haven't, now's the time. Follow the show wherever you get your podcasts so you don't miss episodes. We've got new episodes every Monday and Thursday. Mondays are big guest conversations where we talk about what they're up to and have a laugh. And Thursdays are me and my mum Shanthi answering your questions and family dilemmas, as well as burning off any self-esteem I've got knocking about. So I'll see you on Thursday when mum takes over. If you've got a problem, a story or a family dilemma, send it to podcast@rangaby.com. Voice note or text us on 07731 623 355. That's 07731 623 355. We love getting you involved, and you might hear yourself in a future episode. Plus, it means less content for us to generate. See you next time!
Oh, shut up, Romesh.